Hello everyone, my name is Mandi Lynn. I am the author of the young adult novel Essence, and today I'm going to be going through all the books that I read this month in January, and I actually got to read 8 books. Now, I'm actually very surprised I read that many books because normally, I'm not this lucky, but lucky for me, I'm on the East Coast. We had a lovely snowstorm. I didn't have to go to class some days, and I was stuck inside, which drove me nuts, but I got to read, so it was okay. I just wanted to start off by saying that Maureen from Maureen Kiwi, I believe that's how you say her channel name. I'm not sure. It'll be linked down below. But basically, she posted her video saying that, for 2015, she wanted to read at least 3 different genres a month so she can have a more widespread array of books. And I was like, oh my god, that's such a good idea. I should do that too. And let me tell you, that girl talks with all caps when she replies to comments. And she said, yes, do it. And I was like, okay, I think I got myself roped into this. So now I will be reading, or at least attempting to read 3 different genres a month. But this month I already got that covered because I read like a whole bunch. I read like psychological thriller, suspense, young adult, of course, a memoir, and probably another genre that I am not getting to, but I'm just gonna go through the books. The first book I read was Twisted by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is a book that I've been meaning to read for a while because, I want to read all of Laurie Halse Anderson's book because I think she's amazing. I love her writing. The story, I wasn't in love with the story. It was, high school stuff, kid that has a bad reputation at the school. But I thought it was actually really good, and I love her writing, so that's probably why I liked it. But I gave it 4 stars. Here we have Someone Else's Child by Nancy Woodruff. This story, I had a love-hate relationship because, it's about this girl and her 3 friends, and she was supposed to go out one night, and then she couldn't go out with them, but her 3 friends still went out, and they got in a car accident, and then 2 of them died, and the guy who was driving was the one who survived, and he has all this guilt. And I was like, oh my god, that's such an amazing storyline, and it really was, but it got disturbing fast. It was just inappropriate. This is an adult novel, if you know what I mean, and the relationship between the kid and the friend of a mother, it was still a good book. I just didn't, not my type. Next we have Where Things Come Back by John Corey Whaley. I posted a complete review of this, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I'll leave the review linked down below if you want to watch it. But basically, I love this book. The story wasn't an impressive story, but the writing was absolutely amazing. Next, I have The Widow Down by the Brook by Mary MacNeil, a memoir of time gone by. And I wanted to get more into memoirs because I just think they're kind of interesting to see how someone's life was. I think this takes place in the 50s, I'm not completely sure, so things were different, but it's about this woman and her husband gets, I believe, cancer, and, they're trying to finish building this huge house they bought, and it was interesting. It was kind of boring, and there were some really cool parts, and then some oh, this is boring, but of course it's someone's life, so you can't really change the plot to make it more interesting, so you kind of got to give everything. But for a memoir, I thought it was pretty interesting. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. But yeah. Here we have Gone Girl by Gillian. I am going to be posting a review about this eventually, but this book, if I have to say, this was probably my favorite book all month. I had wanted to see the movie when it came out in theaters, but I wasn't able to because I wanted to read the book first, and I'm so glad I did because the effect of reading the book wouldn't have been the same if I had seen the movie first. I still haven't seen the movie, but oh my god, this book, it blows your mind. This is a psychological thriller or something like that, I think. I don't know. It keeps you guessing. And I think this is a decently big book, and I'm pretty sure I read it in 2 days. Here we have Skeletons, a Novel of Suspense by Kate Wilhelm. This book started off really awesome. It was this girl is house sitting her grandfather's house, and all of a sudden she starts hearing tapping on the roof, and her friend comes over because she wasn't comfortable being there alone, and all of a sudden they hear the tapping on the roof. They go outside, they like set up this little trap to figure out who it is, and they catch this guy who's like throwing like things at the roof, and they end up accidentally killing him. So then it was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then it like completely took a different direction and ended up being about the Ku Klux Klan, and like if like I don't know, I liked the beginning of it, and then as it continued it just kind of went downhill for me. It was a good book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Here we have Panic by Lauren Oliver, and it's signed. I found it at Barnes & Noble. Anyways, this book, I've been avoiding it for a long time because I thought the premise of it was kind of boring. I was like, okay, every year teenagers do like some game called Panic where they have to compete for this huge pot of money. I was like, what's so interesting about that? What I didn't realize, because I wasn't paying attention to what people were saying, was that these games are very dangerous. Like they're illegal things, and you could die from some of these things. Anyways, I love Lauren Oliver's writing. There's just something about it that makes her books very easy. They're like, not easy as in like, oh, 5th grader reading level. Easy as in like, it's so easy to read a whole bunch in one day and it just flies through. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, I ended up loving this book, and I'm so glad I picked it up. The last book I read this month was A Northern Light by Jennifer Donnelly, I believe. I have a few friends who absolutely adored this book, and I thought it wasn't bad. I was a little upset because they sell it like this murder mystery novel about like, oh, this woman's body is found in a lake, and she left behind these notes and all this stuff, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then I read the novel, and it wasn't, like, it was about that, but, like, not for the most part. And it was still a good novel, but it wasn't what I was expecting, and I was upset. Like, there were still some, I dog-eared pages, and there were some quotes that I really loved from this book, but I was like, I wanted to read a murder mystery. So those are all the books I read this month. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys have read. And if you have read the books that I have read, let me know your opinion on them. And as always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe.